The war spreading all over the world very fast now. It seems like it's hard to stop it. It's hard to control it. When we talk about the war, people always think about the impact of the war. And when we think about the impact of the war, we always think about how many people die, how many people get hurt, and how many buildings were destroyed. We think about this is the main impact of the war. But actually there's one thing that we ignore it. We don't think about it. That's the impact in mental problem, in our thinking. Because after the war, a lot of people who survive still have trauma, still have depressed about it. This kind of feeling is torture people for a long time. I have many friends from Burma. Burma have a lot of war, most of the history so far. And then many people moved to Thailand. That's why I have a chance to know many of them. A lot of them have trauma because they were kids when their village were burnt by Burmese soldiers. Their parents, their relatives, their partner were killed during that time. But the suffering from that time still stay in their head until now. Many of them suffer so much. They have trauma. They cannot live like a normal people because that kind of thinking still haunt in their feeling all the time. The part that more sad than that is this kind of feeling, this kind of trauma was transferred to their children too. It's so sad. The kids that were born, they don't know anything, but they have the trauma as a heritage from their parents. They suffer with it. So the impact of the war is so deep and far. It's not worth it. Why we need to have the war? Mostly the war is caused by a few people who make decisions for that. A small group of people who have a lot of greedy people, small group of greedy people who want to take the resources from other people, who want to have more power in their hand. It's nothing necessary for their life, but greed is the main thing. They use nationalist idea to draw people come to support them to start the war, make people love their country, love their group, their tribe, and then fight in the war. But actually, when we have war, it's always ruin everything. War never give benefit to anybody. So it's so sad that now humans were developed so much. We learn so much. We have a lot of experience about war. Every time when the war ends, people think we don't want to have war anymore. But not very long, they start it again. So the world always have war. It's there. But how many people who think about to not create war, not support war in the world? It's so sad. We learn so much, we know so much. We so clever, but we never learn to decrease the war. We did not learn from the history much what happened after the war is. So this part is so sad. We cannot stop the war because the war is one part of the nature way of human. We need to control ourselves by using war. But when we know, when we can learn, when we can develop ourselves, why can't we develop the skill, the culture that decrease war? This part, I think we ignore it. We invest so much in our life in each country. We invest in weapon. Whenever we invest in weapon, that means we invest in war. But how much money we spend to invest on giving or sharing with other country, other people? How much we invest to develop our natural resources to make it abundant? Because most of the war, we just rob natural resources from other people, other country. And then we just want more power to control so we can get their natural resources. We fight for natural resources. Why we don't think about to create more natural resources, to make it a lot, have it more everywhere? So we don't need to fight for it. So when we have more, we can share. This is a lot easier. So the war, it starts from each person, in each individual person. In our life, our family, we always create war. A war among people in the family, the war among people who work together. Whenever we want to take from other people, that's the beginning of war. So the world now, we support people to fight, to compete, to take away from other people. Take as much as we can. We said you are a success because you can take more. You can get more resources from other people. This is the beginning of war. So if we want to decrease the war, I think we need to start from ourselves first. How can we not fight, not compete with other people to get resources, natural resources from other people to us? But how can we share to other people more? So if we want to share, we need to grow them. We need to develop them. Natural resources is one thing we can develop it ourselves. If we spend time, maybe 1 or 2 hours per day in our life to grow things, stop using chemicals, stop burning, natural resources will grow, will propagate more and more and more. And it can feed us. And then we cannot consume all of them. So that's part we can share. We can sell very cheap price. We can share for free. That's the way we create peace. Peace starts from giving. War starts from taking. So if we start to do this, I think everybody can do it. If we start to grow, to develop, to propagate more natural resources, and then we have more than we need, we can share. This is the beginning of peace. Why we don't invest in this thing in our life? We spend so much time, most of our life, just to fight, to take away from other people. And then when the war is bigger and bigger, become the war between each country, we feel sad, we feel bad, we hate the war. But we are the person who create the war. I think this generation, we need to come back to study more, to learn more. Where is the war come from? How can we decrease it in our life? So we can live happily. Because natural resource in the world is enough for everybody. But if we use greed, if we let greed lead our life, the natural resources is not enough for us. But if we don't think about greed, we think about sharing, and we think about develop or propagate more resources, we have resources more than we need forever. So there's no reason to create war. It's more fun to start to create peace in our life. We can start it now in our life, in our family, in our group of people. Start a new culture, start new tradition that we admire people who can share, who can give, but not praise people who always take away from other people more. This is the way we can decrease war in the world.